How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Here we go. We have the Age of Apocalypse Sabretooth. Victor Creed, aka Sabretooth. I don't know what came over me, but in the last couple of weeks I've been thinking about getting this guy, and I seen him in Walmart today, and I purchased him. I'll be the first to tell you I don't know anything about Age of Apocalypse. And that book was issued in my days of reading comics as a kid. But it had to come out around 93, 94. I'm not too sure, but it's in that era. I know it's not as late as 95. And what turned me off from reading that book is this Wolverine had one hand. Already dealing with reading a comic which Wolverine didn't get his adamantium back to, I believe I had stopped buying them by then. I was in middle school, so I didn't even never know how he got his adamantium back till I was a grown man and started repurchasing Wolverine Volume 2. So I'm dealing with that, and I got to see Wolverine with one hand. And then also in the era of reading, I'm dealing with Wolverine when he got his claws broke by Cyber when they was fighting in an abandoned, I don't know if it was abandoned, but in an apartment building. So seeing that, and I just never really felt just the way the Age of Apocalypse looked. And it was a big book. It went on for, as I can remember, a couple years. And it was a storyline that spread it across several books. But I never got into it. I don't even know what happened in it now. For me, reading the box, I found out Sabretooth is a good guy. But to get back on point, this Sabretooth just started to appeal to me. Now, as far as the first wave of Age of Apocalypse, I brought the Build-A-Figure out of that. That's the only thing I was interested in. That's why I took pictures with, I believe it's Sugar Man. I don't even know who he was, but he was such a cool figure that I was like, I hate this wave. I don't want to buy it, but I'll go on eBay and purchase him for $40, and that'll save me $60, $80. I have to purchase a whole wave. And that's what I'm doing with Wave 2 of Age of Apocalypse. The reason why I decided to review this figure is because you don't have to buy a whole wave just to get a figure you like. And if you end up with a Build-A-Figure part, just store it. Maybe you can go to your local comic book shop. I know mine does, Dragon Lair off Yakin Road. They'll buy your Build-A-Figure parts or whatnot. I'm pretty sure you can find a way to source them out. This is the age of Space Age. You can go on the internet. You can do any of that. But you can just get your figure. And ironically, the figure I do want in this line at Wave again is the Colossus. It's on eBay right now for about $90. And I was just trying to wave, because there are a few others in this wave. I like the Iceman and maybe Legion. Shadowcat started to appeal to me too, but now I'm pressing it. You don't ever want to press. If you just want one figure, just get one figure, and that's your prize, then take that. And that's what I'm trying to find. I don't want to get pressed. Now, the Shadowcat figure looks great, but do I need her right now? No, I don't. I don't need the Iceman. I don't need the Legion. What I did want was this Sabretooth on this big buck, and we'll get into that. But this guy just appealed to me, and I just decided to give him a go. But basically, make a long story short, if you don't feel like a whole wave, just go in there and see how much the build a figure is costing. If that's what you want, and you can come out a little bit cheaper. But this Sabretooth, taking photos with him, man, I had a great time. He is what a Sabretooth body mold should look like. That's why in the photography I put in the old I don't know, Apocalypse build a figure wave Sabretooth to show you how small that Sabretooth was compared to this one. When I put that Sabretooth up against this one, it looked like it was dated. Almost like it was a Toy Biz Marvel Legends for some odd reason. And that's still a good looking figure, but for some odd reason, I was appealed to it when I first brought that figure about 3-4 years ago. But then after a while, I lost interest. Maybe if that same 90s Sabretooth was on this body mold, this buck, and then you're working with something. But this guy right here was very fun to pose around. He's very plug and play. He's very simple. His colorways, as far as his outfit, doesn't require much, and they have a few arm hairs on his arm. But he's very detailed. He was very detailed in his hair. They gave him an articulated ponytail, and they just stuck it. When you stick to the script and stick to the basics, you can never go wrong. They gave him 2 head sculpts, one snarling, one with a solemn look, which he has now. They gave him 2 sets of hands, one set of balled up, one set of grappling. And then they just and like I said, his paint and his hair, they gave him the articulated ponytail, which they really didn't have to do that. But it makes a world of difference when trying to move a figure's neck. When you have when most of your parts are articulated and you can move, especially with a character with hair, cape, anything that can hinder that toy from moving, it's good to have those pieces articulated. SH Fig Arts is good for having articulated ponytails on their figures. Alright, so we'll start from top to bottom here. First we'll go over his hair. They did a really good job with the paint on his hair. Well, he really doesn't have too much paint in there. But it looks good. The hair sculpt looks good. Like I said, this is the articulated ponytail. It just twists. It really doesn't go up and down. But they did a good job with it as far as moving wise. That way it doesn't get when he wants to turn his neck or do anything of that nature. He has big beefy arms, so he's not double jointed. He's just single jointed. And if you had double joints, you couldn't do too much anyway, because see how big his arms are. Put him in a T-pose. See, I'll show you how far they bend in. Bicep pretty stops you from pretty much doing anything else. But he moves good. He has an ab crunch. Can bend back bend forward pretty far. He can bend back pretty good also. They did a good job with that. He has a waist swivel. Has a thigh cut. Legs and knees are double jointed, but you see how far it goes back there. It's not really working with too much. But it moves good enough, like I said. Does he have a boot swivel? Nope, doesn't have a boot swivel. But of course, he has a anchor rocker. And that's good for standing. And he's also an easy figure to stand. I love figures that you can just plop up. As far as his head, he can move back pretty far as looking up. He can look down pretty good also. He's a pretty big character. So when people are standing in front of me, definitely can look down pretty good. Head can go all the way around, pretty much on a swivel. Has a hinge that goes back and forth. Same thing with this, no up and down. Just horizontal, no vertical hinges. As far as his ankle, can put it down pretty far, can go up pretty good. Like I said, to be a big buck, he moves great. As far as when they do Sabretooth, they need to put him on this body mold just all the time, because I just remember Sabretooth being really big, especially from X-Men, the animated series. I remember one time he had got hurt or something, and they had to take him in, and he kind of fooled him that he was going to be good, and he just totally turned on him. But I just remember him laying in the bed recovering, and he was huge. I mean, he was laying in a full-size bed. The width of his body took up the whole bed, and of course from the head down to the footboard, he was covering that too. So Sabretooth was a massive character. You would think he was almost 7 foot tall if he wasn't 7 foot tall. It was just a big wide chest, and that's how they made him in the animated series and a lot of times in the comic book. All right, let's do a couple of size comparisons here. I'm gonna put some figures up beside him. Let's go with a Diamond Select Rhino, and you see he's holding his own pretty much with a Diamond Select Rhino. That figure is roughly about 9 inches tall, and Sabretooth is holding his own with that figure. Put a couple of Wolverines beside him. Now, as you can see here, this is how they're supposed to look. Like, Wolverine looks like a midget beside him. And sometimes that's depicted. It almost kind of looks a little bit too small as far as the Wolverines, but Sabretooth is always a very bigger, imposing character over Wolverine. They look great together. That's how it should be. That other Sabretooth that I had from back in the day, they when they're sized up against each other, it just kind of doesn't look right. Let's go with a Friday the 13th NECA Jason, which you all know those are big figures, and they're pretty much standing neck to neck right there. Go with a Super 7 Ninja Turtle Michelangelo. And you can see they pretty much have the same Wolverine action going on. Hogan. So he has Hogan by a little bit. And Hogan's a big action figure as far as, you know, just a normal human. Those WWE Elite figures, the big guys, they come big. So here we have the second head sculpt, the angry head sculpt. Like I said, the other faces are more of a solemn look. And then you have the two balled up fists. So I'm going to call this an A+ figure. I know it's not too much to him, but they didn't do anything wrong here. Everything they did was right on point. He has a great head sculpt, actually two great head sculpts. Grappling hands, fists, that's really all you need with Sabretooth. The costume is just a very plain costume, but it's right on point. This is the way all Sabretooth should look. When they do the next Sabretooth to the original 90s looking one, they should probably put him on this buck right here. He's nice and big. He's imposing. He's not too overly big. And just bottom line, he's a great figure. Like I said, don't get pressured in buying waves that you don't want to buy. If you want to spot one figure that you want, go ahead and go for that. Don't think you have to put together the Build-A-Figure. And also, if you do want the Build-A-Figure, check on eBay, check on other sellers if you're on any type of website or Facebook group, and they should have something on there for a decent price. And that'll save you a good amount of money, because there's been plenty of times where I brought waves because I wanted to build a Build-A-Figure, and I'm sitting up with 2 or 3 figures that I've only seen once in my life and I've thrown in a box. So please don't get suckered into doing that. I would like to take this time to thank everybody who recently in the past week subscribed to my page. I really, 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 from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Today I just passed over 100 subscribers, when last week around this time I only had 20-something subscribers. I've been putting a lot of heart, a lot of passion into my videos. I believe the video that's taken me over the edge, not really over the edge, but kind of put me in the realm to people's kind of starting to dig my stuff, is my Cobra Trooper video. If you have not watched that video and it's your first time, first of all, it's your first time watching, thank you. If you can, like, comment, or subscribe. If you can't do that, check out my other video. The one that I'm talking about is the 50 unboxing of Cobra Troopers. 50 Cobra Troopers I unboxed, G.I. Joe Classified, about a week ago on this channel. Awesome video. I believe it myself, I knocked it out of the park. But at the end of the day, this is a hobby for mine that is a true passion, and I just wanted to share it with other people. So if you can ever watch my videos, share them, thank you. If you can subscribe, thank you. If you have subscribed, keep watching. I've just started this thing a couple of months ago, and I don't plan on stopping, and I'll only get better in time. I have a true passion for action figures, and I thank you guys. And also thank you for taking that G.I. Joe video over 1,000 views. I mean, this thing is beautiful. I thank you very much. But A+ figure, if you can, check them out. If you got the money, grab you one. If you got the money to buy two, grab you two. Because this is a top-notch figure. They did a great job on this. I don't see any wrong that Hasbro did. We're going to end this episode on the same running thing that we always do. When you step out the door, make sure you're being a person of integrity. Thank you guys for watching. Until the next time, God bless.